You know what? Let me ask you this, Matt. Great players that coach, you know, is it possible? You know, because I know it's one thing, you're a great teacher, and one thing about you, you're good at being able to talk about or convey skills, if not something that you want. A lot of great players, I don't think, can convey, if not communicate, or it's a sense of disconnect there. Can you just go through that a little bit? Because I know you're a natural teacher, you know, you're a natural leader. You know, some of these guys that we're showing. Could you just go through the whole makeup of what that takes?
I think to be a good coach, you've got to look at everybody individually. And if a guy's struggling, I always said, no one wants to struggle. No one goes out there and tries to play badly. Did you ever try to play? Was there ever one game where you said, I'm going to go out there and I plan on playing poorly? But every time you played poorly, you felt bad about it.
Absolutely.
I know you did, because you wanted. So I always had a lot of empathy for players and said, man, what can I do to help this guy? You know, I look at his game and I might say, you know, son, you're trying too much stuff. You know, you're out there doing stuff you can't do. I mean, you know, this is how I see your game. You know, run the court really hard. You know, rebound the ball, defend, and then we'll work from that. You know, and so I'm always trying to help players. I think you have to have a attitude of trying to help people, because it's hard out there, man. I tell people there's some, and I was a good player.
Right.
There's some nights, man, that ball felt like it couldn't go in the, it was like a square. Like, you know, like you dribble and it would just, and you're like, what is going on, man? So I think you have to have empathy. I think you have to look at players and say, what can I do to help them? And you really got, and I love basketball.
You're still coaching too.
My life.
You're still coaching too, you know, and you still have to have a sense of patience. The dope part about when, you know, obviously when you coach this is that you have a sense of what that player's going through.
Yes.
You know, you have a connection. You can sense it. You can tell when a guy's tired versus, you know, him willing through. You know, because players have pride. You know, they'll will through. They'll gut through a quarter, and they got last 2 minutes. You might be able to see something like, look, that guy's gassed. You know, let me, you know, being able to connect, if not understand the player.
Yeah.
You know, but I always figure, you know, it's coaching, so you have to have a sense of patience anyway, because it's still coaching.
Yeah, you know, and also look at a guy, I could always tell by looking at everybody how hot they were. Like I look at a guy's eyes, and man, this guy's feeling it, you know what I mean? And for me, I wanted to get the ball, calling timeouts and different. I wanted to get the ball who was either a guy who's really feeling it, or if we had enough of a lead, a guy who needed a shot. Like, you know, man, I got
a guy who does everything, who never gets to touch the ball.
And just shoot it, you know. And I remember Eddie Griffin, when we were out, I was coaching, I know my man Eddie, and I remember one day Eddie was rebounding and shooting the ball. I rebounded and blocking shots and everything, and I ran a play for him. I called the timeout. I ran a play for him. I said, Eddie, if you pass this ball, I will take you out. You have to shoot it. And Eddie looked at me. I said, Eddie, you have to shoot the ball. And Eddie didn't even want to shoot it. But, you know, just guys like that, just to have a feel for guys. Eddie, you're doing everything. You're rebounding, you're blocking shots, you're playing so hard. Just take a shot.
It's a good feel.
You know, and so it's part of its feel. It's much easier to play than it is to coach, because when you're playing, you're taking care of your business. You know, you're probably helping your teammates, but when you're coaching, you're trying to get 12 guys all on the same page and going, and it's, you know,
egos and everything, right?
Exactly.
Man, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Classic, you know what I'm saying? Classic from a classic, great from a great. You know, it's dope to hear this perspective and understanding, and thank you for that. I appreciate that, because we always wondered, you know, from great players, people automatically think, oh, you was great when you played. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be in coaching. So thank you for that, man.
You got it, brother.
It was a pleasure.